Life could be a dream. Life could be a dream.
Before I get into things, disclaimer, I'm not an artist, and some pictures aren't drawn to scale and aren't proportional. So my school year started something like this. I had just touched down in Seattle, and due to 11 flight delays leaving New York, I now only had one day to pack my stuff up and to get ready to move in. Summer was coming to a quick end, and I wasn't ready at all. Fast forward a few days, I've got the keys to my room, and I'm slowly but surely moving all my belongings in. Walking into an empty room 2 weeks before all my friends were moving in was difficult. I felt really alone. The person who was supposed to be my roommate that year, Caitlin, had just called me that morning to tell me she wasn't able to come back to Concordia. The next day, I walked into the OSL to begin training. I was nervous and felt really awkward, but hey, what's new there? Anyways, I was immediately welcomed in with open arms by everyone. It was reassuring to me that I wasn't the only new person on the team, and it eased me a bit seeing just how friendly and kind everyone was from the start. Almost immediately, I realized that these people would become my family, my support system, and my friends. And for the first time in those first few days, I felt like I belonged and was important. I quickly learned that in the OSL, I could be vulnerable, I could be my whole self, and there would be no judgments or assumptions. I felt supported and appreciated by the people around me. The OSL became a home to me, and the people in it became my family members. They became a support system to me that I knew I could always lean on. I realized that was when it all began to fit together. The OSL was just another piece of my life puzzle, and there was a perfectly size-shaped hole that it filled. Flash forward a bit, and I began starting the process of self-reflection and leadership development. I started to brainstorm goals that I wanted to achieve this year in my new role, and I tried to make them as specific as possible so it could be realistic to complete. My goals that I set were giving 110% to my service corps, growing overall as a person, and inspiring others to serve. Having all of these goals set for myself and also realizing that my service corps hadn't started yet made it difficult for me to do things that would help me achieve my goals. I wasn't always actively thinking of ways that I could manifest the things I desired. This was all especially hard because the school year had just started and I had a lot of things going on. With this new role in the OSL, I found myself putting a lot of pressure on myself to do well and to succeed. With my busy schedule, I started to make myself to-do lists, and some of the things that I prioritized were things like self-care, attending other service experiences, and finding some realistic role models or people I could learn from. Very quickly, I realized I was very bad at some of these things. These became some of my personal barriers to success, some of these barriers being self-care, always putting others above myself, this one correlates to self-care, and overall self-confidence as a result of holding myself to very high standards. The barriers to success in my role included things like communication with the Sunsite managers or just having an off day, whether that be the kids or us. Some days we would just have a really hard time getting the kids to listen, and some days it was really hard to motivate the volunteers to show enthusiasm for the events we were doing. This year, specifically in Healthcare Corps, it's been difficult to motivate our mentors. Some of the things that we ask of the kids, the mentors don't do themselves, and we really want that to be congruent. But looking back at it now and looking back at what I've accomplished this year so far, these are some of the things that I've learned. Even if I'm not the best at something, I can still try my hardest. I know I can always ask for support or ask others if they need support from me. I need to be okay with leaning on others for support specifically, and to always be as organized as possible. This is really important for the service corps. Leadership in the OSL has been a pivotal point in personal development for me this year, and I like to explain my specific leadership style in this way. Normally, when we think leadership, we picture a triangle with a leader at the top and the followers below them, but I prefer it to be an upside-down triangle where I'm at the bottom and everyone else is above me, and I'm there to offer support or guidance. As far as strengths and weaknesses this year, I feel like some of my strengths have been listening to others, offering support, and trying my best, and along with that, my weaknesses being self-doubt, lack of confidence, and holding myself to too high of standards. Keeping these in mind, my next steps in my service corps are similar for both Athlete Corps and Healthcare Corps. I want to get trained to aid students with diabetes for Scott School specifically, so next time we can bring students with diabetes on field trips. I want to be able to build deeper connections with the students. This goes for both Athlete Corps and Healthcare Corps. And I want to be more communicative with the Sunsite managers. I want to determine the most effective way to communicate with the Sunsite managers, and I also want to be able to offer support to them. This year I think I've grown in ways that I didn't even know I was capable of, and I'm excited to connect with more people and to continue to be a part of the OSL family.